Chapter 2305. Luali didn't say anything else, but a hint of worry appeared in her eyes. Dragons were legendary existences. If they were to revive, what kind of earth-shaking changes would they bring? In the end, dragons were also a type of monster race. In the end, would the dragons support humans or revive the monster race? It was still an unknown. Therefore, it was hard to say whether it was a blessing or a curse. Brother Xian, didn't you have a dragon by your side? Hearing this, the dark red dragon stuck its head out of the black earth. Little girl, why are you looking for me? Seeing this scene, Luali was shocked, but she quickly recovered. She looked at the dark red dragon and said in a deep voice, "You should know how terrifying dragons are. Although the human race is prosperous now, in ancient times, the human race was very weak. At that time, the 10,000 races were at their peak. The human race was just one of them. In addition, there were many powerful races, and the dragons were one of them. If these terrifying races were to revive, it was unknown whether the human race would be able to resist them. Powerful races? What were they?" Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't know these ancient secrets. Luali seemed to know a little. She said that there were many races in the 10,000 ancient races. The most powerful ones, other than the dragons, were the Tianji race, the spirit race, the light race, the Kuan-Peng race, the Wuxia race, and so on. In short, there were many races, and most of them were monster race. Were there really so many 10,000 ancient races? Lin Xian was shocked. Luali nodded. In the past, there were countless heads in our heavenly court. Among them, there were dragons. There were also spirit race and Tianji race. For example, Wuxia, heavenly ant, and so on. The heads of all kinds of strange shapes were all over the ground. Those were the heads of saints. It was said that in hell, there was a wall that was completely piled up with the heads of the terrifying 10,000 ancient races. Hearing this, Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. As expected of the ancient god of killers, the dynasty was indeed terrifying. But soon he frowned. Originally, he wanted to explore the nest of 10,000 dragons because he wanted to obtain the treasures inside. But now it seemed that it was extremely dangerous inside. But no matter what, he had to give it a try. After all, that was the legendary treasure trove. After chatting for a while, Lin Xian prepared to leave, because Morong Qingcheng and the others were still outside. "Older brother Xian, if you have any difficulties, you can come find me. If you want to kill any experts, you can also come here for a mission. Don't worry, I won't be courteous if it's useful." Lin Xian smiled and left. Looking at Lin Xian's back as he left, Luoli said indifferently, "I really want to be with you. However, there are restrictions in my body. I'm afraid I'll never be able to leave this paradise." On the other side, Lin Xian left the room. There were 4 women waiting outside. They took Lin Xian away from the core area. Soon Lin Xian arrived at the hall below. The outside was still bustling with noise and excitement. However, when Lin Xian came out, all eyes turned to look at him. Their eyes were filled with shock, surprise, and a trace of fear. The crowd automatically made a path for him. At this moment, not only the cultivators in the city, but even the cultivators outside were terrified. What a joke! Someone who was related to the Moonflower Palace was definitely not simple. Not everyone was like the Tang family's young master Qianshan, who had such a strong background. Ordinary cultivators did not dare to provoke them. Of course, there were also people who sneered and gloated. This was because they knew that this brat was dead meat. Lin Xian killed young master Bai Yun, and Morong Qingqing offended the Tang family's young master. Whether it was the White Cloud Mansion or the Tang family, they were both extremely terrifying. Even if this brat had the protection of the Moonflower Palace, no one would be able to save them once they left this place. Lin Xian ignored these people's gazes and strode over to Morong Qingqing and the others. Lin Xian said, "Sorry for the wait." Morong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Xiao Linger said, "Big brother Lin, why are you only here now? Seriously, you really pissed me off just now. What's wrong?" Lin Xian asked. "Who made Linger angry?" It's not me. It's someone who has designs on big sister Qingcheng." Xiao Ling angrily recounted what had happened. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. Someone actually dared to have designs on Morong Qingcheng when he was not around, and even dared to threaten them. He was courting death. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. At the side, Zhao Zhiro reminded him, "Be careful, that person is the young master of the Tang family. The Tang family is an invincible sovereign realm clan, and is extremely terrifying. Moreover, they have many allies here. This time, you can't act rashly. If you really can't, you can ask the Moonflower Palace to escort you away." To be honest, Zhao Zhirua was really worried. Moreover, she now knew that not only these people, but there was also an even more terrifying Tai dynasty behind them. Of course, she hoped that Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing could leave this place safely. "Thank you for your concern, senior sister Zhirua," Lin Xian said. But then, he changed the topic, and a sharp light appeared in his eyes. "Cultivators of my generation never shrink from a battle. Since the other party dares to find trouble, then I won't be polite either. Let's go, Qingqing, they'll take revenge for you." Lin Xian held Morong Qingqing's small hand. Morong Qingqing smiled faintly. "Okay." She followed Lin Xian and walked forward. Seeing this scene, Xiao Ling was incomparably excited. "Great, I can finally take revenge." Previously, she was also very dissatisfied with the Tang family. Xiao Kuang snorted coldly. "If necessary, I will also take action." Because he had long wanted to take action, Zhao Zhirua sighed. "Forget it, let's not persuade him." The other party even dared to kill the Golden Lion King, let alone the cultivators of the Tang family. I wonder what kind of scene will happen. Thinking of this, she quickened her steps and followed. Whoosh! Seeing Lin Xian and his group walking into the distance, the King Almighties in the surroundings began to discuss among themselves. They immediately opened up a path for them. However, everyone's gaze fell on Lin Xian and the others. Where is this kid going? Is he thinking of leaving? I think it's possible after all. He provoked the Tang family. He can't afford to offend them. Leaving now is the best way. What a joke, that's not an exit. It seems that he's going to look for the young master of the Tang family. I also think it's possible with his character, he won't leave just like that. Don't forget about young master Bai Yun. Many people discussed, and in the next moment, they also followed behind Lin Xian. For a moment, the crowd surged forward like a dark cloud. The people in front naturally noticed this scene, so they all turned their heads. Chapter 2306. Tang Kuan, the second young master of the Tang family, naturally saw this and scoffed. A cold light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he let go of the beauty in his arms and turned around to look behind him. Apart from him, the eldest young master of the Tang family, the third young master of the Tang family, young master Qianshan, and the other young masters of the major clans also came over. These people formed a powerful force. The air instantly condensed, and a terrifying invisible pressure pressed down on Lin Xian's courage. The pressure formed by these people joining forces was terrifying. Sure enough, in an instant, the expressions of all the King Almighties changed, and they retreated one after another. No one could withstand the pressure. In fact, they were worried that Lin Xian would be crushed in an instant. Lin Xian felt the pressure, but he snorted coldly and activated his great dragon sword soul. Buzz! A terrifying dragon's might was released, offsetting the terrifying pressure in front of him. The sound of ice and snow melting could be heard in the sky, and the terrifying pressure disappeared. Seeing this, Tang Kun's face became even gloomier. Young Master Qianshan also had a grave look in his eyes. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. On the opposite side, a beautiful woman also stared at Lin Xian with flickering eyes. She was Yen Ruyu. Lin Xian looked at Yen Ruyu, then the corners of his mouth curled up. Long time no see. He did not directly acknowledge the other party, but used this method. This way, if the other party was really Zhao Shui, she would definitely understand what he meant. After hearing this, Yen Ryu smiled faintly but did not say anything. Her beautiful eyes became even more profound. Everyone around was stunned. What's going on? Does this fella know Yen Ryu too? Oh God, how's that possible? Who exactly is this? Young Master Qianshan, the Tang family's young master, and the others also frowned. Among them, Tang Kuan even scoffed coldly. Fella, don't pretend to be mysterious. How could you know Fairy Yen? Why? Are you here to die? Or are you here to beg for mercy? At this point he sneered. It wasn't just him. The people around him were all looking at Lin Xian with sneers on their faces. Young Master Qian Shan waved his fan and stood with his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold. He wanted to see how this kid would deal with today's situation. Brat, you are very arrogant. I originally wanted to look for you, but I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come here. Very well, tell me, how do you want to settle this? If you want to apologize, you have to kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also, give me your woman to play with for 2 days. I can spare your life. Ha 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 ha. Hearing this, everyone laughed. They wanted to see what the other party would do. Would he really hand over the woman obediently? When Lin Xian heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Very well, let's do as you say. Now kneel down and kowtow to me 100 times. Also ask your mother to come over. I'll play with her for 2 days. I can spare your life. What? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. His eyes widened in disbelief. The faces of the Tang family's 3 young masters darkened at once. Damn brat, what did you say? The Tang family's 3rd young master roared ferociously, and a piercing killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was like a demonic sword that instantly pierced through the void. The Tang family's eldest young master and 2nd young master's faces were even gloomier. They were like raging volcanoes that would erupt at any time. The others were also shocked and in disbelief. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Am I allowed to insult others? Can't I insult you? Or are you born noble and superior? I said, obediently do as I say, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, today will be the day you die. You are courting death. Teng Kuan was also furious. No one had ever dared to insult him like this. Today he must kill the other party. How dare you? Presumptuous. How dare you speak to young Master Teng like this? Quickly slap him. Kneel down and kowtow. Otherwise you are dead. The few young men behind Teng Kuan sneered. Their voices were like thunder that resounded in all directions. The others also glared angrily and emitted cold killing intent. However, without exception, no one made a move. This was because this was the Moonflower Castle, and there were rules here that prohibited fighting. Even almighties would be killed if they fought, let alone them. No one dared to break this rule. Young fella, I know you have the support of the Moonflower Castle, so you dare to be so unscrupulous. Teng Kuan said coldly, his eyes burning with anger. A layer of terrifying flames appeared on his body. So what? You can't stay here forever. As long as you dare to take a step out of here, I can guarantee that you will end up very miserably. I will torture you for the rest of your life, and you will beg for death. This is the consequence of provoking me. The Teng family's eldest young master and 3rd young master also snorted coldly. The killing intent in their eyes was not concealed at all. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. Why? You only dare to threaten and don't dare to make a move? Looks like you are really useless. How dare you be arrogant like this? What a joke! Lin Xian sneered in disdain. After hearing this, Teng Kuan snorted coldly. Young fella, don't play tricks. We all know the rules here. I won't give you a chance, and I won't let the Moonflower Castle make a move either. Just wait, the banquet will end soon, and your death will come. Damn it, this guy actually didn't fall for it. Xiao Ling waved her fist angrily, and at the side, Zhao Zhirua also had a solemn expression. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Do you think I said those words to make you make a move and break the rules? Do you think I dared to come here because of the Moonflower Castle? Of course. If it wasn't for the Moonflower Castle, you would be a dead man by now. Do you think you can still stand? The Teng family's 3rd young master shouted coldly, and the Teng family's eldest young master also snorted coldly. The surrounding young geniuses all sneered. Lin Xian smiled. Looks like young master Bai Yun's matter didn't teach you a deep enough lesson. Since that's the case, I don't mind making a move and teaching you a lesson. What? He was going to make a move. Everyone in the surroundings was shocked, and young Master Qian Sen also frowned. Yin Rui's beautiful eyes flickered, and she looked very expectant. On the other side, Xiao Ling Zhao Zhirua, and the others were a little worried. Although they knew that Lin Xian had a special relationship with the people of the Moonflower Castle, they were afraid that he couldn't break the rules so obviously. After all, If this rule was broken, the prestige of the Moonflower Castle would also weaken a lot in the future. The Tung family naturally also understood this logic. Therefore, they sneered in disdain. Young fella, you still dare to make a move? Who do you think you are? You think you can break the rules here, just because you have a little relationship? They snorted in disdain, and didn't believe it at all. The few young men behind Tung Kuan were even more arrogant. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian, and said arrogantly. Chapter 2307. They stood out from the crowd, came in front of Lin Xian, and said arrogantly, Come, come, come. I'm standing here. Try touching me. Tung Kuan, young Master Qianshan, and the others had cold gazes. They were also looking forward to it. As long as the other party attacked, they would have an excuse. Even the people from the Moonflower Palace had no choice but to come out and punish Lin Xian. Because this was the rule. A rule that could not be broken. I've seen people run fast when snatching treasures. But this is the first time I've seen people in a hurry to die. Since you guys are in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. With that said, Lin Xian waved his palm. Slap. 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 A crisp slap sounded, shaking the void. The tens of millions of cultivators in the distance all heard it. In the next moment they were shocked. They were in an uproar. Their eyes widened in disbelief. Because in front of them, 3 arrogant youths were slapped, and directly slapped to the ground. The ground trembled as if an earthquake had happened. And their faces were completely deformed. Their teeth were broken all over the ground, and blood splattered everywhere. What? He attacked. He really attacked. How dare he? Is he going to break the rules of the Moonflower Palace? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, as they stared ahead in disbelief. One had to know that in the past, when a peerless mighty figure attacked here, he was mercilessly killed. Although the kid in front of them had some relationship with the Moonflower Palace. In order to maintain their dignity, the Moonflower Palace absolutely did not allow anyone to attack here. In their opinion, this kid was too daring. He's dead meat. You. The 3 young geniuses were slapped to the ground, and they were very angry. They roared crazily and struggled. A terrifying light surged from their bodies. They wanted to attack. How could they endure being slapped in public? But in the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. Why you dare to attack? Then try it. Buzz. Hearing this, the 3 geniuses' attacks stopped in midair. The light on their bodies also dimmed. Indeed, they did not dare to attack. Although the other party had broken the rules, it did not mean that they could break the rules. They did not dare to offend the Moonflower Palace. Pung pung pung. Just as the 3 of them were hesitating, Lin Xian lifted his leg and kicked the 3 of them. The 3 of them felt as if they were struck by lightning, as if 3 mountains were pressing down on them. Countless bones in their bodies were broken, and they were sent flying. Everywhere they passed, the void shattered. Ah! 3 screams were heard as the 3 of them crashed into Liang Kuan and the others. Pung! The 3 of them were caught by countless warriors. However, they discovered that the 3 of them were severely injured. Their eyes were filled with fear. What? This brat was too arrogant. He actually dared to act so brazenly in the Moonflower Castle. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Zhao Zhirua and the others gasped. Young Master Qianshan, Tung Kuan, and the others had gloomy looks in their eyes. However, at this moment Tung Kuan sneered. Originally, I wanted to do it myself. But now it seems that I don't need to do it. You've broken the rules here, so you'll definitely die. Liang Kuan looked at Lin Xian with a cold gaze that was as sharp as a blade. Too stupid. Young Master Qianshan shook his head with disdain. The young geniuses behind them sneered. The eldest and 3rd young masters of the Tung family also sneered in disdain. Idiot, let's see how you'll die later. Yan Ruya's beautiful eyes flickered and were extremely deep. She looked at Lin Xian with an inexplicable aura in her eyes. Is that so? Do you think you can predict everything? Hearing the other party's words, Lin Xian smiled. Alright, let's see if I'm the one who will be killed today or you. As he said that, he took a step forward and grabbed at the front again. His palm transformed into a terrifying golden lion that pounced forward. Fearless Lion Seal. Under the effect of Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul, the great ability of the war tribe was displayed to perfection. Light flickered in the sky, and terrifying energy surged. A golden lion descended from the sky like a golden Buddha that could suppress everything. That power made even the mighty figures tremble in fear. "You're courting death." Seeing this, Tung Kuan roared angrily, and his eyes were filled with anger. His opponent actually dared to attack him. He really could not tolerate it. In the end, he did not make a move, and instantly disappeared on the spot. Boom! The golden lion pounced down with its claw, tearing the void apart, and creating a large black crack. Nevertheless, it did not hurt Tung Kuan. However, the terrifying energy shockwave caused many martial artists behind Tung Kuan to vomit blood. Young Master Qian Shan, the eldest and third young masters of the Tung family, were also affected. Buzz! They quickly defended, and a bright light screen lit up in front of them, blocking the energy shockwave. What kind of ability is that? It's too terrifying. Sensing the power of the golden lion, everyone's expression changed. Young Master Qian Shan and the eldest young master of the Tung family also had gloomy expressions. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. In the void, Tung Kun's figure also appeared. "Brat, you've completely angered me. Later, I'll definitely torture you to death." "Torture my ass. I've long disliked you." At this moment, the dark red divine dragon also came out of the black earth. It landed beside Lin Xian, waved its dragon claws, pointed at the void above, and said ferociously, "Damn it, come over here if you dare. I'll roast you and eat you." To be honest, he was really angry. The other party is only an ordinary prodigy. How dare he be arrogant in front of me? How dare he threaten to kill me again and again? How could the dark red divine dragon tolerate that? Therefore, at this moment, he naturally had to counterattack. Where did this snake come from? How dare it be so presumptuous here? Tung Kun's face was gloomy. Being threatened by a snake was like a slap to his face. Therefore, in the next moment, a terrifying pressure rose from his body. Although he could not attack, using his pressure to kill the other party should not be against the rules here. Boom! 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 The invisible pressure enveloped the dark red divine dragon. Even an ordinary mighty figure would not be able to withstand it. However, the dark red divine dragon sneered in disdain. He was a dragon, and the pressure of a dragon was even more terrifying than that of a peerless mighty figure. How dare he compete with me in terms of pressure? What an idiot! Therefore, in the next moment, he snorted coldly, and his body also emitted a terrifying dragon pressure. Boom! 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 The other party's pressure instantly shattered. Not only that, the terrifying dragon pressure directly surged towards Tung Kuan. Tung Kuan left his original spot and appeared in another direction. However, his complexion turned incomparably ugly. "How dare you attack me?" Tung Kuan gritted his teeth. "Since when did a snake dare to be rude to me?" The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. "So what if I attack you? I still want to test you. Besides, you're the fucking snake. I'm a dragon. Do you know? Dragon." Hearing this, everyone frowned. They were extremely puzzled, because the pressure that the other party emitted earlier was too terrifying. Chapter 2308. However, they did not think that the other party was a real dragon. After all, no one had seen a real dragon. In their opinion, the other party might be a horned dragons that had the bloodline of dragons, or some other rare species. But even so, it was still shocking enough. Tung Kun's face was also gloomy. He sneered. "A horned dragon? Alright. I'll roast you and have a taste of what a horned dragon tastes like." "What? You want to eat me?" The dark red divine dragon was furious. "I'll spit all over your face." As it said that, it opened its mouth and spat in front of it. The saliva that filled the sky turned into a Milky Way and swept forward. It was terrifying as it covered the entire sky. Puff! Tung Kuan did not have anywhere to flash this time, so he was sprayed all over his face and clothes. The saliva was extremely smelly and had a very strange smell. Tung Kun's face immediately darkened like the bottom of a pot. Below, Xiaoling and the others laughed because the scene was too comical. Many people in the crowd could not help but laugh. However, soon they could not laugh anymore. This was because Tung Kun's body was emitting an incomparably terrifying killing intent that pierced through the void like a god of death. Black holes appeared in the sky one after another, It was terrifying, as if the world was about to be destroyed. This aura made the scalps of tens of millions of martial artists go numb. Damn reptile, you're courting death. Tung Kuan was furious. Why? You're not convinced? You're unhappy? Go ahead. I'll slap you to death with one slap. The dark red divine dragon was very arrogant, like an old monster that had no scruples. Humph. Lin Xian also sneered. Great, there are some things that I can't say, so I can let the dark red divine dragon do it. This time he'll probably be angered to death. Look at how skinny you are. You probably won't have much meat even if I beat you up. How about this, you'll be my pet. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws. Be my human pet, and serve me well. If you serve me well, I can teach you one or two great abilities of dragons. Puff. Hearing this, Tung Kuan was so angry that he vomited blood. Not only him, but the eldest and third young masters of the Tung family were also furious. The third young master was relatively young, only 18 or 19 years old. He was young and full of vigor, so how could he endure such humiliation? Therefore, in the next moment he roared. Damn it, I'll definitely kill you. He really couldn't hold it in anymore. Wang. The energy in his body suddenly erupted like a volcano, sweeping out in all directions. The entire sky was like a piece of cloth, rustling as cracks appeared in countless places. As soon as this terrifying aura appeared, everyone's expression changed. That was because this power had actually reached the almighty realm. This was simply too shocking. It was worth noting that the Tung family's third young master was only 18 or 19 years old. Despite being so young, he could unleash the power of an almighty being. It was indeed shocking. He could be said to be a young genius. Not good. However, the expressions of Tung Kuan, young master Qian Shan, and the others changed. Although the Tung family's third young master was formidable, he might not be able to resist his opponent. They wanted to save him. However, in the next moment they were stunned. Another resplendent slap rang out between the heavens and the earth. Then a figure was sent flying, smashing through the void. At this moment everyone was drooling. This was because the domineering and peerless God-favored third young master of the Tung family was sent flying backward. And his teeth were broken all over the ground. His entire face was deformed. His body floated into the distance like a kite with a broken string. On the other hand, Lin Xian slowly put down his hand with a hint of disdain in his eyes. Shocked, extremely shocked. At this moment, the tens of millions of martial artists seemed to have been petrified. They realized that Lin Xian was too valiant. His speed and power were so fast that they could not capture him at all. Even many of the older generation figures were extremely shocked. On the other hand, the Tung family's eldest young master and Tung Kuan roared angrily. Their bodies swayed, and they instantly appeared in the distance. They helped the third young master up. Third young master's entire face was deformed, and his teeth were all broken. Blood dyed his clothes red. Ah! The third young master roared angrily, and his body emitted a dazzling light. Next, his deformed face returned to normal, and the teeth that had fallen out grew out again. I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you. The third young master roared crazily like a wild beast. He had never suffered such a loss before. He was sent flying with a single slap in front of so many people. If he did not take revenge, how could he live in the future? Third younger brother. Don't be impulsive. The Tung family's eldest young master held the third young master down. It was very disadvantageous for them to make a move in this situation. They had to endure it. Everything would be easy once they left the Moonflower Castle. Big brother, second brother, don't worry about me. I'll definitely kill him. At this moment, the Tung family's third young master had a crazed look on his face. His eyes were red, and boundless flames appeared on his body, burning fiercely. At this moment he was like a wild dog. Brat, you forced me to do this. Today I'll definitely kill you. The Tung family's third young master quickly formed a seal with his hands. Dense blood-red vein patterns appeared on his body, and a violent power instantly surged out. As soon as this power was released, the surrounding space instantly shattered. It could not withstand it at all. So powerful. His strength had doubled. This must be the Tung family's secret technique. Everyone was shocked. This secret technique is too powerful. Sure enough, under this energy shock wave, Everyone's faces turned pale, and they frantically retreated. In fact, there was even a vacuum in the field. In the field, Lin Xian and the others were the only ones who stood calmly. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing were peerless God-favored ones, so they were not afraid of the terrifying energy shockwave at all. Their bodies emitted a misty light screen, which blocked all the shock waves. Whoosh! Brat'll kill you! The Tang family's third young master roared furiously. He stomped his foot and broke the void as he charged over. He was as fast as lightning. He even pulled out a blood-red longsword. As soon as the sword was drawn, a sea of blood spread in the surroundings. Countless vengeful spirits appeared in the space, as if they had turned into hell. The evil blood sword. This was a top-notch treasure sword. It was the Tang family's famous treasure sword. They did not expect it to be in the hands of the Tang family's third young master. Many people exclaimed. It was obvious that they had also heard of this sword's reputation. When the longsword was swung, a blood-red sword chi appeared in the sky and slashed downward. In an instant it enveloped Lin Xian. Buzz! Upon seeing this, Lin Xian scoffed. He swayed his feet and disappeared on the spot. Whoosh! He appeared in the void above the Tang family's third young master. What? So fast? The Tang family's third young master's scalp went numb. He did not expect his opponent to be faster than before. He could not believe it. After all, now that he had used a secret technique, his strength had doubled, and his speed had doubled as well. Even so, he could not keep up with his opponent's speed. Chapter 2309. Soon he screamed in agony. This was because a foot had stepped on his back. The force directly broke his entire back. Countless muscles collapsed, and his bones were broken. Blood spurted out, and a huge force hit his body. Damn it! Block it! After the Tang family's third young master was enraged, a set of fiery red armor instantly appeared on his body. At the same time, countless red flames burned on the armor, and turned into fire dragons that wrapped around Lin Xian, trying to burn him. Boom! However, everything was useless. The Tang family's third young master screamed in agony. The armor on his body shattered, and the sea of fire in the sky disappeared. Under this foot, he was like an ant without any ability to resist. Boom! He landed on the ground, and there was a shocking vibration. Countless runes lit up on the ground, forming a terrifying defensive formation. Otherwise, this attack could definitely penetrate the ground and create a 10,000-meter deep abyss. The Tang family's third young master screamed crazily. The foot was still on his body, making him unable to move at all. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels were all impacted. Seeing this, everyone was shocked and dumbstruck. The Tang family's eldest young master and Tang Kuan roared, "Damn it! Let go of my third younger brother." They were both shocked and furious. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful that he could instantly injure their third younger brother. The other party actually dared to be so heavy-handed. This was unbearable for them. You want to save him? Sure, kneel down and kowtow to me 10 times and I'll spare his life. You're courting death. The eldest young master and Tang Kun's faces darkened. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. You only have one chance. Since you missed it, don't blame me. As he spoke, he exerted force with his foot, and an unparalleled force surged out, instantly crushing the Tang family's third young master's body. Boom! Countless blood mists filled the air and sprayed in all directions. The ground was instantly dyed red, and all the King Almighties in the surroundings were stunned. They could not believe it. What did this fella do? He actually killed the Tang family's third young master. Oh God! Is he not afraid of the Tang family's revenge? Everyone went crazy. Because this scene was too shocking, they didn't dare to believe it. One had to know that fighting was not allowed in the Moonflower Palace. Lin Xian actually dared to fight here without any scruples. More importantly, he killed the Tang family's third young master. The Tang family was an invincible king clan. It was extremely terrifying. The third young master of the Tang clan had a noble status, and almost no one dared to provoke them. In the past, a few top-notch mighty figures had set their eyes on the Tang family's third young master's treasure, and wanted to secretly snatch it. But they were directly killed by the Tang family's peerless powerhouses. Not only that, but they also directly destroyed the sects of these three top almighties, causing a huge commotion. At that time, this matter caused a stir in the Ninely dynasty. Everyone knew about it. Therefore, from then on, almost nobody dared to offend the Tang family. Now, someone actually killed someone from the Tang family. He even killed the Tang family's third young master. Wasn't this poking a hole in the sky? They dared not imagine how the Tang family would react once they found out about this. Most importantly, the other two young masters of the Tang family were also present. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. The Tang family's eldest young master and Tang Kuan were furious. They roared crazily. Young Master Qianshan and the others were also stunned. They did not expect that the other party would really dare to make a move. Boom! The Tang family's eldest young master roared, and his body emitted a terrifying light. His eyes pierced through the void and fixed on Lin Xian. In the next moment, a blue long saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed down. Boom! On the other side, multicolored light filled the sky, and Teng Kun's black hair danced wildly like a demon god. A black long spear appeared in his hand, and he directly stabbed forward. The sky instantly shattered. The two young geniuses of the Tang family finally could not hold it in anymore. They finally made a move. Boom boom boom. The void was instantly shattered, and terrifying energy instantly engulfed Lin Xian. The tens of millions of martial artists in the surroundings retreated frantically. They did not dare to imagine that someone would dare to ignore the rules of the Moonflower Castle and make a move here. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the Moonflower Castle did not stop them this time. What are they trying to do? Could it be because of Lin Xian? These people did not know that their attention had long been attracted by the battle in front of them. Looking at the two terrifying attacks, the faces of Xiaolinger, Zhao Zhihua and the others changed. Lin Xian, on the other hand, sneered. Buzz! He directly pulled out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword and slashed forward. Boom! In the sky, a sword light directly slashed out. Clang! In the next moment, the green long saber was broken into two. Not only that, but the eldest young master of the Tang family also vomited blood and retreated with a face full of shock. Buzz! The ancient Dragon Abyss sword was swung again and collided with the black long spear. The sound of metal colliding was like thunder that spread in all directions. Everyone's scalp went numb. Teng Kun's pupils suddenly shrank. He felt a huge force coming from the long spear. It shook his arm until it went numb, and the qi and blood in his body surged. Damn it! How can the opponent be so strong? He roared and wanted to counterattack again. However, something happened that shocked him. His black long spear, a top-grade treasure weapon, was instantly broken into two. Boom! The terrifying force blasted on his body, and he kept vomiting blood. What? Everyone was stunned. In an instant, two top-grade treasures were broken, and two young geniuses were injured. Oh God, what kind of strength is this? They could not believe it. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian and felt their scalps go numb. Even young Master Qianshan's face became gloomy. Yin Ruya's lips curled into a beautiful smile that was full of mystery. Damn brat, you're going too far. The eldest young master of the Tang family and Teng Kuan roared crazily. They stopped in their tracks, looking extremely disheveled. Nevertheless, they looked at each other and attacked again. This time they took out two high-grade treasures. Not only that, but they also unleashed the power in their bodies to the extreme. Their bodies emitted a biting cold light like a sun. Boom! The eldest young master of the Tang family had a huge golden cauldron above his head. Thousands of golden auras hung down and imprisoned the entire sky. The golden cauldron was like an immemorial divine mountain that pressed down fiercely. The void shattered in an instant, and terrifying cracks spread toward Lin Xian. On the other side, Teng Kuan pulled out a long sword. The sword qi danced and formed divine rings that shone in the air. Oomph! Chapter 23:10. When he swung his sword, heaven and earth trembled. Everyone in the main hall was terrified. They realized that their bodies were stiff, and the blood and power in their bodies seemed to be frozen. Moreover, the dazzling sword light in the sky made their bodies hurt, as if they were being split apart. Boom! The ancient sword swept out and split the golden cauldron in half. The green longsword was also broken into pieces. The Tung family's eldest young master and Tung Kuan vomited blood and were sent flying again. However, this time Lin Xian did not let them go. He swayed his body and arrived in front of them in an instant like a fiend god. At the same time he slapped with his palm. With a crack, the Tung family's eldest young master was enveloped by the palm. Ah! The Tung family's eldest young master roared crazily, and a terrifying light surged from his body. A golden armor appeared. On top of that, a pagoda rushed out from his body and protected him. Boom! Even so, it did not seem to be of much use. The pagoda's illusory image was smashed into pieces, and the armor on his body was also broken. Nevertheless, he took this opportunity to move his body horizontally. The terrifying palm wind swept across half of his body, causing his arm to be directly broken. Boom! The Tung family's eldest young master crashed into a pillar in the distance, causing the void to shake. Then, he fell to the ground and vomited blood. On the other side, Lin Xian swept out his right leg like a coiling dragon and aimed for Tung Kuan. Damn it, get lost! Tung Kuan threw away the broken sword in his hand and shouted as he punched with both fists. His terrifying fists were like mountains as they emitted a dazzling light. Boom! Next, he collided with the coiling dragon leg. With a bang, heaven and earth trembled. Tung Kuan screamed in pain as his arms were broken, and he was sent flying. In an instant, the two of them were severely injured. They trembled, and their hair was disheveled. Everyone around them was stunned. None of the tens of millions of martial artists said a word. The scene was silent. Even the young masters and peerless geniuses from the major clans gasped. Is he really just a young man? Why do I feel that the gap between us is so huge? We the geniuses are like ants in his hands that can be easily crushed. I'm afraid that even the princes and saints of the sacred grounds can't do this. What, do you still want revenge? Lin Xian looked into the distance with a hint of disdain. The Tung family's eldest young master and Tung Kuan were so angry that they vomited blood. They were about to explode. But this time, they didn't dare to make a move. The other party was too strange. His strength far surpassed theirs, especially the treasured sword in his hand, which was incomparably sharp. Even a top-grade treasure artifact could be split apart. They truly did not have the confidence to continue fighting with him. He was terrified. The young master of the Tung family was terrified. No one dared to believe it. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it even if they were beaten to death. What a piece of trash! Seeing that the two of them did not dare to fight, Lin Xian snorted in disdain. Then he looked around. Soon, he spotted young Master Qian Shan and the others. There were about a dozen of them, all of whom were young geniuses. They were all in cahoots with the Tung family. Previously, when Lin Xian had come over, these people had mocked him and even threatened him. Now it was time to return the favor. Lin Xian stared at the three young men. The three of you were very arrogant before. Didn't you say that you wanted me to kneel and accept my death? Now say that again. Lin Xian looked ahead. The three young men trembled, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. What's wrong? You don't dare to say it now. A bunch of good-for-nothings. Lin Xian snorted in disdain. Young Master Qianshan roared crazily. Endless light burst out from his body, causing his deformed face to return to its original state. His teeth also grew out. At his level, as long as his soul was not destroyed or his body was seriously injured, he could recover. However, even though his body had recovered, he still couldn't accept being slapped in the face in front of everyone. Not only did Suemo slap his face, but he did it twice. Chapter 23:14. Bang! 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 Next, all the young geniuses who went against him were sent flying by Lin Xian. Every one of them was seriously injured. Many of their bones were broken, and their internal organs were also severely injured. The remaining tens of millions of martial artists' minds were blank. They knew that this matter was definitely serious. If news of this spread, it would probably shock the entire Ninely dynasty. Moreover, it was probably not over yet. These were the young masters of the big clans. Now that they were injured, how could the clans behind them let it go? Sure enough, these people had already begun to secretly contact the forces of their clans. Especially the Tung clan. Young Master Qianshan was gnashing his teeth. Young Master Qianshan had already used a secret method to contact the powerhouses of the city lord's mansion and rushed over. The two young masters of the Tung clan also contacted the powerhouses of their clans nearby. As long as the other party left the Moonflower Palace, they promised to kill him in an instant. Seeing that the people who went against him had already been beaten down, Lin Xian snorted coldly and looked around again. Then he stared at Yin Ryu. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Is this guy going to attack Yin Ryu? Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, Yin Ryu's expression did not change at all. Don't you think that we've met before? Lin Xian spoke again. He really wanted to know if the other party was Zhao Shui or not. The corners of the mouths of the surrounding people twitched. Damn, is this guy trying to worm his way into being friends with Yin Ryu? But this method is too old-fashioned. Sure enough, Yin Ryu's gaze changed after hearing this. But soon it calmed down again. It was like a stone that sank into the sea, and only a few ripples were created. But soon it disappeared. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. He had a feeling that the other party was Zhao Shui. But why didn't the other party acknowledge him? Could it be that there was a reason? He did not know, but he definitely wanted to find out. Therefore Lin Xian walked forward. Buzz! However, just as he took 2 steps, 2 figures rushed out beside Yin Ryu. They were 2 young men. Their appearances were not impressive, and they did not emit any powerful auras. Previously, Lin Xian did not care at all. However, now that they had rushed out, it seemed like they were here to protect Yin Ryu. Lin Xian did not mind. He used the Azure Dragon Palm and slapped forward. Bang bang. 2 low voices sounded like muffled thunder. However, this time Lin Xian exclaimed in surprise. This was because the 2 of them were not sent flying like the previous geniuses. Instead, they were fighting against each other. Although the 2 of them were trembling and their expressions changed, they still managed to resist the Azure Dragon Palm. This greatly surprised Lin Xian. It seemed that these 2 people were even more terrifying than the previous Sky Prides. However, these 2 people had concealed themselves too deeply. If he had not asked Yin Ryu, these 2 people probably would not have stood up. Where did he come from? How could he be so strong? The 2 young men were even more shocked, and fear appeared on their faces. They finally understood why the other party was able to send so many Sky Prides flying. This power was too terrifying. If it were not for their strong physiques, they would have been sent flying long ago. Even so, the chi and blood in their bodies were churning, and their bones were trembling. Ha! In the next moment, the 2 of them roared angrily, and an unparalleled domineering aura surged out of their bodies. They finally suppressed the trembling. Buzz! The 2 of them were like an iron wall, blocking Lin Xian's path. Kid, these 2 are not humans. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon said, I can sense a demonic aura from their bodies. Hearing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes in surprise. Rumble, thunder and lightning fell, and it was a scene of destruction. The elders and powerhouses of the families were enveloped by the rain and thunder, and they screamed miserably. That was not ordinary rain. When the raindrops hit their bodies, they instantly pierced through their bodies. And those thunder and lightning were like heavenly tribulations, striking them until they screamed miserably. In an instant, 3 families were destroyed. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This is too terrifying. Clouds and rain. This is really the divine ability of the legendary dragons. It seems that this is definitely a flood dragon. The martial artists who were watching the battle also cried out in alarm. On the other side, Morong Qingqing used the flying flower divine ability. Petals danced in the sky, and it was abnormally beautiful. But in an instant, it killed the powerhouses of 2 families. This scene was also shocking. Xiao Kuang used a terrifying saber technique, and also killed many powerhouses. Chapter 2320. However, they didn't know that Lin Xian had been teleported away from Qianshan City. Of course, Lin Xian and the others didn't leave on their own accord. They were teleported away. The nine nether flower was very mysterious. It wrapped Lin Xian and the others and teleported them 100,000 miles away. Whoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Xian and the others appeared in a barren mountain. As soon as they appeared, Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul was instantly activated. The dragon sword realm enveloped the surroundings and protected the others. Morong Qingcheng, the dark red divine dragon, and the others instantly regained their consciousness. They looked around cautiously. There was a barren mountain around them. There was no one around except for a few crows cawing. However, when they arrived, the crows flapped their wings and quickly left. In front of them stood a group of people. They were Tung Kuan and the other cultivators of the Tung family. Boom! Boom! In the sky, a large black ship slowly descended. The ground trembled and countless cracks appeared. The ship was 100 meters long, and there were various palaces on it. The ship was pitch black, as if it had rushed out of hell. It was covered with black flowers. The black flowers were exactly the same as the flowers that wrapped Lin Xian and the others. They were the 9 nether flowers. On the black ship, 4 figures appeared. Among them, 2 figures sat there like emperors, overlooking the common people. The other one held a black 9 nether flower in his mouth, and looked at Lin Xian and the others with a sneer. The last one flashed, and directly appeared in front of Tung Kuan and the others. His speed was so fast that many powerhouses couldn't see him clearly. How did he move? Oh no, it's them. When Xiao Kuang saw this scene, his pupils instantly shrank and his face became incomparably ugly. Brother Xiao, you know them? Lin Xian asked. Xiao Kuang's face turned pale. It was them, the 4 Jili demons. He didn't expect them to come here. The 4 Jili demons. Hearing this name, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the 4 of them had a strong background. These were 4 extremely terrifying devil kings. They killed people like scything flax and had no scruples. They were extremely terrifying. The 4 of them moved together. Among them, the great devil and the second devil were peerless almighties. Although the 3 devils and 4 devils were not peerless almighties, they were not far off. He had far surpassed ordinary pinnacle almighties. He was probably half a peerless almighty. What was even more terrifying was that the 4 of them were working together. Therefore, no one could stop them. He did not expect the Tung family to summon the 4 Jili devils. Brother Lin, let's hurry up and escape. Xiao Kuang's complexion was incomparably pale. Although he was usually very arrogant, facing the 4 devils of Jili, he was extremely shocked. This was because the 4 of them together were equivalent to 3 peerless almighties. However, just as Xiao Kuang finished speaking, the black figure in front of him turned around and sneered. Want to run? Do you think you can run in front of us? He was the 4th of the 4 devils. At this moment, the 4th devil's gaze locked onto Lin Xian and the others. He sneered. I didn't expect you kids to be so powerful. You're able to make us attack. However, your luck has come to an end. In front of us, you should obediently kneel and wait for your death. Of course, the 3 beauties can live. It's been a long time since I've seen such beauties. Coincidentally, we're lacking a few cultivation cauldrons. Come over and obediently become our cultivation cauldrons. The 4th devil spoke with a hint of malevolence in his voice. Hearing this, Morong Qingqing snorted coldly. Zhao Zhirua and Ling Er's expressions changed. Humph. You dare to attack the Hong sect? Xiao Kuang gritted his teeth and said. Although Xiao Kuang's demon-slaying saber was incomparably terrifying and unpredictable, it still could not threaten the 4th devil's life. On the contrary, the 4th devil used several terrifying divine abilities to injure Xiao Kuang. In fact, one of the moves almost took his life. At this moment, Xiao Kuang's body was broken and blood flowed, but he still refused to stop. Ah! He roared towards the sky and used all his strength to strike out with the demon-slaying saber again. Whoosh! This saber appeared behind the 4th devil and instantly cut open his armor and smashed into his body. Blood spurted out in an instant, dyeing the armor red, and even the sky red. This was the blood of the Demon King. It was extremely terrifying, and instantly pierced through the void. The ground was also dyed red. turning into countless drops of blood and sweat. He was injured. Seeing this scene, Tung Kuan and the others exclaimed in disbelief. Even the third devil, who was on the black ship, let out a soft exclamation. Clearly, he was also taken aback by what was happening. The fourth devil's expression was even more distorted. The other party had actually injured him, and even destroyed his armor. Unforgivable. He struck out with both palms and a huge black hand covered the sky and earth, instantly enveloping Xiao Kuang. Crack. 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 Countless bones in Xiao Kuang's body were broken as he flew backwards. However, the fourth devil obviously did not let him go. In the sky, 300 demonic claws appeared and tore through the void, wanting to crush Xiao Kuang. Ah! Brother Xiao. Seeing this scene, Linger exclaimed in shock, her face pale. Zhao Zero's heart was also in her mouth. She was extremely nervous. However, at this moment, a sharp sword light suddenly appeared in the sky and poured down like the Milky Way. In an instant, the 300 demonic claws were cut apart. Bang! Bang! Countless black gas rolled, and the 300 demonic claws disappeared in the sky. At the same time, a 5-colored lotus caught Xiao Kuang and gently placed him on the ground. What? He was blocked. On the opposite side, the fourth devil was stunned. The people from the Tung family exclaimed. On the other side, Zhao Zhirua, Ling and the others all surrounded him. Zhao Zhirua even took out countless spiritual herbs and fed them to Xiao Kuang. Xiao Kuang coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood and ate the pills. Then he smiled. Don't worry, I won't die. However, it was enough to injure the fourth devil. Indeed, although this palm had injured Xiao Kuang, he was very happy. This was because 300 years ago, he was seriously injured by a single move from the fourth devil. However, 300 years later, he could successfully injure the fourth devil. This change made Xiao Kuang very satisfied with himself. However, on the opposite side, the fourth devil's face was extremely gloomy. The murderous aura on his body turned into demonic claws that pierced through the sky. Damn it! Who was it? Who dared to stop him from killing? Did they not want to live anymore? He swore that no matter who it was, he would kill them. In the next moment he saw it. A red-robed young man walked out again. Brat, it's you. He saw clearly that it was this brat who had slashed his 300 demonic claws. How dare you interfere with my business? Die! The fourth devil was furious. The demonic claws on his body stretched out again, turning into a black demonic mountain that pressed down on Lin Xian. It covered the sky and the earth, instantly shattering the void. When this palm came out, the cultivators from the Tung family cheered. This was because they could feel that the fourth devil was really angry. This attack was much more powerful than the previous one. Chapter 23:23. The fourth demon was really angry. This attack was much more powerful than the previous ones. It seemed that the other party would not be able to block it. Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly as he looked at the other party's monstrous claws. In the next moment, countless sword lights gathered on his body and formed a giant sword that slashed forward. Boom! As the sword slashed down, the void split open. Monstrous waves of air slapped in all directions like seawater. Soon the black claws were cut apart. Crack! 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 The terrifying claws were instantly split into pieces and turned into demonic chi that dissipated in all directions. Bang! Ah! The fourth demon also screamed and kept retreating. Damn it, what happened? Hearing the scream, the Tung family members hurriedly looked over. Then they gasped in disbelief. They saw the fourth demon holding his arm with a ferocious expression. Blood flowed down his arm and dyed the ground red. A sword mark almost severed his opponent's arm. How could it be? The fourth demon was injured again. At this moment, even the 3 demons on the black ship could not remain calm. He stopped smiling, and his eyes shone with a cold light. This was because he did not expect the other party to be able to injure the fourth demon so severely. He had to admit that the other party's strength was definitely beyond his imagination. Ah, damn brat, how dare you hurt me? I will definitely tear you into pieces. The fourth demon roared at the sky. His black hair danced wildly and turned into a river that danced in the air. The terrifying sound waves shattered the 9 heavens. Boom! Endless demonic chi flowed through his body and turned into a demon king. He was 10,000 meters tall and stood tall. Its body was pitch black, as if a demon god had descended to the human world. Kill! With a roar, monstrous killing intent rolled out like a huge wave. This caused everyone's bodies to tremble. The martial artists and elders of the Tang family frantically retreated tens of thousands of miles away to watch the battle. This was because they did not dare to get too close. The aura in front was too terrifying. Humph! A mere fourth demon dares to fight against me? Lin Xian sneered in disdain. He snorted coldly and countless sword lights surrounded his back. The dragon sword territory instantly surged out. Then, it turned into a giant dragon and roared as it flew forward. Boom! Boom! An earth-shattering collision sound rang out as the huge Devil King was directly pierced through, its body splitting into two halves. Ah! The fourth devil let out a miserable shriek and was sent flying backward. His body was a bloody mess, and more than half of his armor had been shattered. Countless bones in his body were broken. What? Defeated? Upon seeing this, the people from the Tang family in the distance widened their eyes. They could not believe that the terrifying fourth demon had been defeated by a single sword strike. Wasn't this method a little too terrifying? You're just a piece of trash. How dare you attack me? Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored him. Instead, he stared at the black ship in the distance. He pointed his sword at them. The three of you can come at me together. The eyelids of Tung Kuan and the others twitched fiercely when they heard this. Not to mention him. Even Zhao Zhihua, Xiao Linger and the others were completely stupefied. For a moment, the entire scene was incomparably silent. Damn it! Damn it! Off in the distance, the fourth devil flew back. That sword strike just now had sent him flying for 10,000 miles. His body was severely injured, and he was currently taking pills to recover. His body swayed, and he arrived nearby with a cold gaze. He glared at Lin Xian as if he were a demon, roaring incessantly. However, he did not make a move, because he did not dare to. That strike just now was too shocking, and it made him fearful. Humph! I'll kill you. On the black ship, the third demon snorted coldly. His body swayed, and he instantly disappeared. Then he appeared in front of Lin Xian. Buzz! When the third demon appeared, the surrounding space quickly trembled, and countless cracks appeared. It could not withstand this terrifying power at all. Is the third demon going to make a move? Behind him, Tung Kuan and the others cried out in surprise. They regained their hope. This was because the third demon was even more powerful than the fourth demon. With the third demon making a move, they would definitely be able to kill him. The people from the Tang family secretly watched from afar. In front of them, the third demon snorted coldly. His eyes were unusually cold, and they were like two divine spears that pierced through the void. As the third of the four demons of Julie, he was very powerful. Although he had not become a peerless almighty, his strength was not inferior to a peerless almighty. In fact, he could even contend against them. It could be said that he was very terrifying. Third brother. Seeing the third demon make a move, the fourth demon also shouted in a low voice. Fourth brother, go to the side and recover first. Oh, kill him. The third demon said coldly. Then countless rays of light surged from his body. The purple light that filled the sky revolved and turned into a purple raccoon. It was very huge, like a purple mountain that covered the sky. Buzz! He carried countless purple lights and charged forward. This was the other party's king's domain. It was very terrifying. The third demon seemed to be really angry. He immediately displayed his powerful strength. Boom! The terrifying purple raccoon came over. Lin Xian also waved the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed out. The terrifying ancient sword continued to grow in the air, forming a huge dragon that danced in the sky and crushed the purple raccoon in front of it. This was the chaotic heaven destroyer sword. Lin Xian was becoming more and more familiar with it. The power of a heaven-level sword technique, coupled with the heaven-level ancient sword, could be said to be very terrifying. Even a peerless almighty would have a headache if they saw it. Not to mention the third demon in front of him. Boom! Bang! The ancient dragon source sword was incomparably sharp. It descended from the sky and was very terrifying. It directly slashed at the purple raccoon. Boom! Boom! The two collided and burst out with dazzling light. An earth-shattering sound was heard, and the purple light that filled the sky broke apart. The purple raccoon screamed and was sent flying. The third demon also kept retreating and broke through the void. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his face was filled with shock. He was injured. He was actually injured. A young man in his 20s injured him with a single sword strike? He couldn't believe it at all. One had to know that he was the third demon. He was very terrifying, and his strength was comparable to a peerless almighty. Moreover, he was not careless when he attacked earlier. He used the king's domain as soon as he attacked. It could be said that he was very powerful. Even so, he was still injured by a single sword strike. Damn it! How is this possible? The fourth demon's eyelids twitched. He couldn't believe it at all. His third brother was also injured. On the black ship, the great demon and the second demon also frowned. In the distance, the people of the Tongue family were scared out of their wits. Is this kid still human? How can he be so powerful? Ah, damn kid, I'm going to kill you. In front of him, the third demon roared crazily. His eyes were cold, and the killing intent on his body soared into the sky. Buzz! In the next moment he waved his arm, and 9 purple gourds appeared in the sky. Each of them shone like stars and revolved around his head. Whoosh! Whoosh! Chapter 23-24. Roar! Those black shadows were all very powerful yakshas. They were huge like giants and wore black battle armor. They held black triangular halberds in their hands. Demonic chi surged from their bodies. Kill! With a furious roar, 9 terrifying yakshas charged forward together. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian also frowned because he could feel how terrifying those yakshas were. So he was not careless. The dragon sword realm surrounded him, and countless sword chi interweaved. Behind it, terrifying phantoms appeared one after another. True Dragon, Fire Phoenix, Qilin, Black Tortoise, White Tiger. 9 powerful demonic beasts charged into the sky. They were completely condensed from sword chi, but they possessed the power of the great dragon sword soul. So they were lifelike as if they were real divine beasts that had revived. 9 huge divine beast phantoms appeared in the sky together, forming countless projections that roared in all directions. Damn it! What kind of divine ability is this? The fourth demon saw this. His pupils contracted. The Tongue family's martial artists felt their scalps go numb. Even the great demon and the second demon frowned, and their eyes emitted a cold light. Damn it! Destroy! The third demon was also extremely shocked, but now he could not stop. He could only kill the other party with all his might. With a furious roar, endless power poured into the 9 yakshas, and the 9 yakshas burst out with a black light. Like 9 black suns they charged forward. Boom! A shocking battle broke out in the sky. The 9 yakshas went straight for the 9 divine beasts. It was very tragic. However, not long after, the 9 yakshas wailed, and were directly killed by the powerful divine beasts. Then Lin Xian Tung Kuan, and the 9 powerful divine beasts charged forward together. The third demon's expression changed instantly, and his eyes were filled with deep shock. This was because the pressure from the 9 divine beasts was too terrifying. The pressure caused his muscles to hurt, and even his bones to creak. He wanted to escape, but in the next moment, he found that countless blue ice had appeared in the surrounding space, and it instantly turned into a world of frost. It completely enveloped him. Not only that, but countless frost also appeared on his body, and in an instant, he was frozen into an ice sculpture. Great! He's frozen! Ling Erjuruwa and the others exclaimed. On the other side, the people from the Tongue family had ghastly looks on their faces. However, in the next moment, they also cried out in surprise. That was because the ice statue in front of them had suddenly exploded. The third demon coldly shouted and countless rays of light shined from its body, breaking apart the terrifying ice. At the same time, beneath his feet, the terrifying purple civet cat appeared once again. The purple raccoon's body blossomed with flames. It held a purple shield in its hand, and a purple spear in its right hand. His aura seemed to be able to pierce through the 9 heavens. Therefore, in the blink of an eye, the third devil was able to resist the ice that filled the sky. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The shadows of 9 divine beasts circled around him, and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand continuously slashed down. The 9 divine beast phantoms roared towards the sky, shattering the void. Lin Xian also used his ultimate move, Reverse Chaos. A terrifying sword light flashed and exploded with a powerful force, causing the entire void to tremble. A pitch-black crack instantly flew out from the long sword and extended forward. Not only that, the 9 divine beast phantoms beside him were also attacking frantically. Boom! The third demon controlled his civet cat territory and quickly counterattacked. The purple shield continued to enlarge, like a heavenly gate, blocking in front of them. Whoosh! The purple civet cat waved the spear in its hand, and it pierced through the void like purple lightning. Boom! Boom! Terrifying energy exploded, and the void cracked like a piece of cloth. Light shone in all directions. The purple spear pierced through the 9 divine beast phantoms, causing 3 of them to be directly penetrated. The other few were also affected, and their light dimmed. However, the 9 divine beast phantoms and reverse chaos attacks were mixed in with the civet cat's body. Boom! Boom! The purple civet cat kept retreating, and countless cracks appeared on the purple shield in its hand. Boom! The purple shield shattered into countless pieces. The civet cat's body was also severely injured, and a crack instantly appeared on its body. Sky shattering. Demon sealing. Another 2 ultimate moves were used. The purple civet cat kept retreating, and terrifying cracks appeared on its body again. In the end, it dissipated and merged into the third demon's body. Ah! Puff! The third demon also screamed, and spat out a mouthful of blood. A few sword marks appeared on his body, as if he was struck by lightning, and he was sent flying. Third brother! Seeing this, the fourth demon screamed crazily. The members of the Tongue family were completely stunned. They were like puppets, and their minds were blank. What happened? Even the third demon was defeated? How was that possible? Was this brat already this strong? Could it be that his strength was truly that of a peerless almighty? When they thought of that, they gasped, and their bodies trembled uncontrollably. The fourth demon's face was ugly. He gritted his teeth, and his body flashed. He quickly caught the third demon and fed him a pill. The third demon stopped bleeding, but his face was abnormally pale. His handsome face was also extremely distorted. Third brother, let's attack together and kill him, the fourth demon said. The third demon nodded after hearing that. He stood up, and his body was wrapped in purple flames, forming a purple armor. A purple spear appeared in his hand, and a purple shield with a civet cat pattern appeared in his left hand. Humph! The fourth demon snorted coldly, and a black sword appeared in his hand. Countless vengeful spirits surrounded him. Kill! Kill! 2 angry roars were heard as the 2 demons attacked again. Their attacks were like heavenly thunder, tearing the void apart. Boom! Boom! They tore apart the divine beasts in front of them, and quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Even if the 2 of you attack together, it won't be enough. Lin Xian roared, and his voice was like thunder. Sword chi burst out from his body, and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand slashed out quickly. He slashed out dozens of times in a row, and the terrifying sword chi emitted a dazzling light. It was like a shocking rainbow that cut through the void. The sword chi that filled the sky completely enveloped the third and fourth demons. Boom! Boom! The light dissipated, and the third and fourth demons vomited blood, and were sent flying again. The sound of bones breaking could be heard from their bodies. They flew for thousands of miles before they stopped. This shocking scene made everyone from the Tongue family open their mouths in shock. Their faces were filled with horror. What kind of combat strength could send the third and fourth demons flying at the same time? This kid was too terrifying. Zhao Zhirua also exclaimed, and Ling Er's beautiful eyes were wide open. Xiao Kuang was also shocked. Could it be that Brother Lin was already a peerless almighty? Boom! While they were shocked, the first and second demons on the black ship were even more shocked. Among them, the first demon's eyes emitted a terrifying light. It was like 2 black death rays that pierced through the void. Chapter 23-25. Second demon stood up immediately. He was about 4 to 5 meters tall. And when he stood up, his murderous aura was overflowing, giving off a strong sense of oppression. They had no choice, as the two of them were too shocked. Although third demon and fourth demon were not supreme mighty figures, they could definitely contend against supreme mighty figures when they joined forces. However, they were still sent flying by the other party. One could imagine that the other party had the combat power of a supreme mighty figure. They could not help but be shocked that a prodigy in his 20s had such combat power. It was no wonder that Tung Kuan had summoned them. "Kid, I'm here to take your life." Second demon's voice was loud and clear. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "You can't do it. Let your boss do it." He shifted his gaze away from second demon and looked at the great demon next to him. Hearing that, the great demon frowned while second demon roared angrily. "Kid, you're courting death." He could not tolerate the fact that Lin Xian dared to look down on him. Ka. Black armor quickly appeared on his body with flames burning on it, making him look like a demon from hell. His bell-like eyes carried an indescribable majesty. Whoosh! A giant axe appeared in his hand. As he swung it, it easily shattered the void. "I told you, you're no match for me. Get lost." Lin Xian frowned when he saw that second demon was about to attack. He snorted coldly, and his voice was filled with boundless killing intent. "Go to hell." Second demon was really angry. He took large strides in the air, and with each step, he traversed 1,000 miles. Boom! In an instant he arrived above Lin Xian. Whoosh! He swung the axe in his hand, as if he was cutting vegetables, trying to split Lin Xian apart. This was a kind of arrogance. Previously, Lin Xian had already shown that he had the strength of a supreme mighty figure, but second demon still dared to descend from the sky. One could only imagine how much the two demons valued their own strength. "Kid, go to hell." Second demon's eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. The axe in his hand let out a rumbling sound as it came crashing down like a mountain. Boom! Lin Xian brandished the ancient dragon abyss sword and clashed with the heaven-splitting axe. Instantly, the sound of metal clashing erupted. It was like a sudden clap of thunder that spread out in all directions. Raging waves appeared in the sky, and hundreds of thousands of cracks spread in all directions. At this moment, Morong Qingqing, the third demon, the fourth demon, and the martial artists of the Tung family in the distance all held their breaths and carefully watched the battle. This was because this was a battle that belonged to the true almighties. Sounds of collisions rang out in the sky. Lin Xian took a few steps back, and the huge sky-splitting axe was also sent flying. With the two of them at the center, all kinds of light rushed into the sky, and terrifying symbols flickered in all directions. The two of them were evenly matched in this exchange. The third and fourth devils were completely shocked. The second devil's face sank. He had cultivated for thousands of years, but he couldn't beat a young man in his 20s. This was unbearable for him. Therefore, in the next moment, he let out a furious roar and swung the heaven-splitting axe in his hand. 9 axes and 18 strikes. The second demon displayed a terrifying attack, and a shocking power fiercely blasted over. Lin Xian didn't resist at all. He stepped on the demigods and semi-devils and rapidly dodged. Countless afterimages appeared in the sky, and he instantly dodged the 18 terrifying attacks. Zhanga, the ancient sword swept out like a dragon swinging its tail, and fiercely collided with the heaven-splitting axe. Clang! The second demon was repelled. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he quickly attacked the black ship. His real target was the great demon sitting there. What? He actually wanted to attack the great demon? Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a cold breath. Xiao Kuang and the others were extremely shocked, and the third and fourth demon's pupils shrank. The second demon roared angrily. "Kid, you've gone too far." He was really too angry. He didn't expect that he would be ignored by the other party after displaying such a powerful strength. This was unbearable. Therefore, in the next moment, he let out a furious roar, and his eyes turned red. A sinister smile appeared on his face. "No one has ever dared to ignore me. Kid, you've committed a heinous crime. I'm going to let you taste the taste of regret." At this point, the tall figure swayed again. This time, he didn't chase after Lin Xian. Instead, he stared at Xiao Ling and the others. "I'll let you watch your companions die one by one." I'll enjoy these beauties for you first. The second demon laughed out loud. He stretched out a huge palm and grabbed forward. That palm was like the palm of an ancient god. It instantly covered a part of the sky and covered Morong Qingcheng and Zhao Zhirua. Humph! Seeing this, the third and fourth demons sneered, and Tung Kuan and the others laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha! That kid is an idiot. Let's see how his companions die. They were too happy. They didn't expect that the other party would make such a stupid mistake. Not good. Zhao Zhirua, Ling Xiao Kuang, and the others' pupils shrank, and their faces became incomparably ugly. Although they were also geniuses, they were nothing compared to a peerless almighty. Even if the three of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to block an attack from a peerless almighty. The only thing they could do now was to dodge. However, the other party's palm was like a heaven and earth cage, directly imprisoning the space they were in. It was very difficult to break it. Damn it, how dare you attack Ling Er? The Hong sect will definitely not let you off. Xiao Kuang roared crazily. Indeed, Ling Er's identity was very special. If anything happened to her, the Hong sect would definitely go crazy. However, the second demon had already gone crazy. He didn't care about the Hong sect's revenge. What he wanted to do now was to kill the people in front of him, to vent the hatred in his heart. Damn it! Seeing that the two demons were unmoved, Xiao Kuang roared angrily, and Zhao Zhirua exclaimed. However, at this moment, Morong Qingqing snorted coldly, and a bright light burst out from her body. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon screamed, "Big guy, you dare to have designs on me? You're courting death. I'll definitely cut you into 18 pieces and cook you later." The dark red divine dragon was indeed angry. What did he mean? Did he think that they were ants? What a joke! Since when did he, the dark red divine dragon, become an ant? Therefore, at the next moment he snorted coldly, and his body swayed, suddenly leaping up. Boom! He swung his dragon tail, and directly hit the sky-splitting axe. A thunderous sound rang out, and a huge ball of energy shot up into the sky. At this moment, the wind and clouds in a radius of 10,000 miles changed, completely enveloped by a terrifying energy, and it was impossible to see clearly. What happened? Someone actually blocked Second Brother's attack. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.